Okay, if you're a parent, you absolutely know this moment. It's that, it's that mix of magic and, let's just say it, kind of creepy. We're talking about that middle of the night mystery when your baby just starts laughing at an empty corner. But I'm here to tell you, as a developmental expert, there is a perfectly logical and frankly an incredibly fascinating explanation. So, let's dive in.
Picture it. It's 3 in the morning. The whole house is dead quiet, and then you hear it, that full, happy belly laugh. You peek over, and there's your baby, just staring, totally mesmerized by an empty corner of the room, grinning away at something you absolutely cannot see. Yeah, your first thought might be a little on the paranormal side. So, what is really going on here? Is your house haunted, or are you witnessing one of the most complex, most sophisticated neurological events in the entire universe unfolding right there in the crib? Well, it turns out the reality is way, way more wondrous than any ghost story.
For decades, the old wisdom was that this is just random brain static, that a baby's world is this blurry, chaotic mess. But that idea is completely out the window. Thanks to some incredible technology, like eye tracking and brain imaging, we now know that a baby's brain is working with an intensity that you and I will just never experience again.
A baby is born with about 100 billion neurons. Now, to put that into perspective, imagine a brand new city where all the magnificent skyscrapers and buildings are already built, but there are 0 roads connecting any of them. Every single thing they experience, every shadow, every sound, every touch from you, is physically paving those roads, wiring that entire city together, moment by moment.
All right, so what's the first big clue in solving this amazing little mystery? Well, it all starts with how a baby actually sees the world. And trust me, it's probably not what you think.
We used to think newborns were practically blind. Wrong. We now know their vision is more like a superpower, specifically calibrated for certain jobs. Their eyes are hardwired to hunt for 3 things: high contrast edges, any little bit of movement in their peripheral vision, and, this is the big one, faces. So that sharp 90-degree angle where a dark wall meets a light ceiling. To your baby, that's one of the most visually exciting high-definition things in their entire universe.
And it gets even cooler. Your baby isn't just passively staring at that corner. Their brain is actively running these complex predictive models. So imagine a tiny little dust mote floats past that high contrast line. Their brain makes a prediction about where it's going to go. And when it suddenly zigs instead of zags, that surprise, that little violation of its prediction, can trigger a laugh. So that laugh isn't random at all. It's a cognitive response. It's their brain's way of saying, whoa, my model of the universe just got a major update.
But a high contrast line isn't the whole story, right? Let's get to our second clue. Because a lot of the time, it's not just the corner they're seeing. It's a specific pattern of shadow and light happening right there. And there's a really, really important reason for that. Deep inside all of our brains is a little region called the fusiform face area. It's basically our dedicated, built-in face detector. In adults, it's pretty well tuned. But in a baby, it is hyperactive. We're talking turned up to 11. It is primed from birth to see a face-like pattern, 2 dots over a line, in almost anything. A crack in the ceiling, the grain of wood on the crib, you name it. And let me be clear, this is not a bug in their system. It is a critical evolutionary feature. Every single time their brain finds a face in the shadows, it's like doing a rep at the gym. It's a neural workout, strengthening the very circuits they are going to need for a lifetime of connecting with you.
And this, right here, is the real aha moment. Your baby is not laughing at nothing. In a very real neurological sense, they are laughing at someone. A little friend their own brain has built from the raw material of the room, a phantom constructed from shadow and light that only they can see.
Okay, so that explains what they're seeing. But why does it happen so often in the dead of night? Well, that timing is no coincidence. It is the final and maybe the most fascinating piece of our puzzle. So, as adults, we spend about 20% of our sleep in that vivid, dream-filled state we call REM sleep. But newborns, they can spend up to half their time there, a full 50%. This intense REM sleep is when their brain does its most important work.
And for most babies, this brain-building activity peaks right between 2 and 4 a.m., the exact time of our little mystery.
So during this peak REM time, the infant brain puts on its own internal fireworks show. Scientists call it spontaneous neural activation. Now, in you and me, this creates dreams that are pretty neatly contained while we're asleep. But in babies whose brain architecture isn't fully built yet, this dreamlike activity literally bleeds over into their waking perception.
This is truly incredible to think about. At 3 in the morning, your baby is in a state of consciousness that we as adults have no equivalent for. They are, quite literally, awake and dreaming at the exact same time. They're seeing the real room, sure, but they're also seeing the internally generated patterns of their own mind projected right on top of it, like a movie.
So we've solved the mystery of what the baby is seeing. But there's one more layer here, and this one is all about you. Why does witnessing this feel so profound?
The answer is all about neurochemistry. When you see your baby laugh, your mirror neuron system just lights up. These are the brain cells that are basically the biological foundation of empathy. It's the same reason you might feel the urge to yawn when someone else does. Your brain literally mirrors their joy, and you feel that warmth, that connection flooding your own system.
And this creates this beautiful, powerful connection loop. Think about it. The baby laughs at their phantom friend. Your brain mirrors that joy, and you can't help but smile back. Then, their hyperactive face detector locks onto your smiling face, and they laugh even harder. This makes you feel even more connected, and the loop just gets tighter and tighter, strengthening your bond in real time. And inside that simple little loop, your baby is learning one of the most fundamental lessons of being human. That their internal, private world of phantom faces and neural fireworks can actually have an effect on the outside world, that what they feel matters to someone else. This is the very first brick being laid in the foundation of who they are.
Now, this science also gives you a really practical tool. Between about 4 and 8 months, you should see a natural shift. The laughing at phantom faces should start to fade as their brain matures, and social laughter should start to take its place. What's social laughter? Oh, it's them giggling at your silly faces, at a game of peekaboo. This shift is a really key milestone. And if you notice that social laughter isn't really picking up, it's what we call a soft indicator. It's not a red flag, but it's a great reason to just start a conversation with your pediatrician.
So the next time you wake up to that 3 a.m. laughter, just remember what you're really seeing. You are not watching something spooky or strange. You are a privileged witness to one of the most extraordinary processes in the known universe. You are literally watching a consciousness come online.
It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What if these seemingly small, ordinary moments of parenting, the ones that happen in the quiet of the night, what if they're actually the most profound and extraordinary events we could ever hope to witness?